Hey everybody, this is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. Happy Monday, happy Prime Day. I don't know if any of you guys have been doing the Amazon Prime stuff. I was looking forward to it for weeks. I don't know why. When they've been sending the emails through, this is how bad things are getting, where I'm like, God, I'll wait till Prime Day. I'll wait till Prime Day. And then when Prime Day comes, I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't need anything. But anyway, it's Prime Day anyway for these guys who are waiting to get your whatever, your new stuff. And it's been, so this is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we like to. Last few weeks, last week, not very many people showed up, so it was nice and short and sweet, but we just keep showing up, right? Like I said, it doesn't have to be a party, it's just a little bit of a get-together, so it's always nice when you guys can show up. And if you have any questions, we can chat about, whatever we want to talk about. And this week, mostly I've been doing the same stuff I normally do, just working on a lot of Firebase and Flutter application development, and also some Xamarin stuff. But a lot of Firebase and Flutter, and also Angular and Flutter. Angular and Firebase. So again, one of the core models I've been going with lately, the last few projects have been having Firestore as a backend model. Firebase obviously authentication as the authentication, and having an admin site hosted in Firebase hosting using Angular.js, right? And I've tried to use Blazor, and I've thought about using Flutter Web, but I just have not quite got there yet. But that's what I've been working on the last few weeks, which has been kind of cool, kind of nice, just to kind of work on that kind of stuff. In terms of technology, there's not a whole lot that I've been paying that much attention to that's been going on. I've been getting a lot of alerts from Flutterflow, which a few weeks ago I thought this might be something. First of all, let me know if you guys can hear me. By the way, so having a look into Flutterflow, and a few weeks ago I was talking about how I was excited about that, and now I'm kind of like, all right, it's come and gone, and just been helping clients out with stuff, the payment methods and everything. Oh, and another thing is, I haven't sorted out my taxes with the whole YouTube AdMob thing. So my AdMob payment, which comes in every month, which is significant, it's about £800. Usually about 800, 900 pounds each month. That's hasn't come in this month. It's because, I did my taxes. And because I'm an American living in England, I have an English company, but an American social security number. Every time I go to start answering questions, it's confusing about what I'm actually doing. And they rejected my tax information, so I got to go fill all that stuff in. So that's kind of annoying. But let's see who's here. Atitia Jane, hey, how's it going? I'm doing really well. It's been nice, and the weather's been rainy. I got a video done last week. That's something. Rainy weather and everything. So Liron Reutman says app name person locator for WhatsApp. Okay, let's have a look at it. Sure, let's see. And then Kevin Hawthorne is here. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? So let's have a look at this. We're talking about Liron. Can you let me know if you're on Google Play or on the App Store, please? Let's see. Let's have a look. I'm going to try on. And Liron, you could. Let's see. Have a look. Person locator for WhatsApp. Okay, there we go. Reutman apps. Let's have a look. We'll have a look at this for Liron, who very politely asked, could you please, Eric, pretty please, can you look at my app, person locator for WhatsApp? But we'll have a look at it anyway. Let's have a look. If I look at this, I saw it here a second ago. Reutman apps, person locator for WhatsApp. Cool. Create any message trigger. Use WhatsApp to find your device with the trigger. Create multiple triggers as needed. How does this work? Find My Phone app is a WhatsApp location tracker that allows you to locate your kids and family members' location even when you lost your phone from any device using WhatsApp. With the app, you can see. I'm intrigued. How does this work? So you've got 9 reviews. Hang on a second. All right. You have descriptive screenshots here. So let me just have a look. So actually, we're going to watch the video, but I'm going to have to turn the sound off because I get demonetized if the music's bad. So you put in, let's see, this is a bit, how does that work? We're still at school. Huh. Okay, let's see. What are the reviews here? Great app, my family dad. How to use this app, I can't understand. So you got 1 review. You install the app on the device that needs to be located, open the app, you define the message. So when the device will receive it from WhatsApp, it will respond with the location. Okay, so done. Now you have to simply send the exact message through WhatsApp. So you have to set it up on both sides, which I imagine would be the privacy concern that people would have. So you got privacy and security. I think it looks pretty cool. I think if it's a bit more, yeah, if you address the security concerns there. I like the icon. I think it's clever. Is that how do you do? I mean, is there an API? I mean, I would imagine that would be like you tie into the WhatsApp API. From a technical point of view, I was wondering how that works. Let's have a look here. We got Armando says, Armando Jimenez. Hey, Armando says, hey, first I'm here. I just submitted my first app to the App Store using Flutter. I was rejected because they can't complete the purchases. They can't complete the purchases available on my app, but it works for me on test flight. Okay. Okay, so completing the purchases works on test flight using Flutter. Are you talking about the in-app? So the in-app purchases aren't working, right? Sometimes, are you sure that's what it is, Armando? So when I've had, I get rejected a lot because of in-app purchases. Usually it's because I don't have the restore button, or they do the purchase, and then when they do the purchase, they can't see it. So like, I remember once I had something, and I don't know if any of this applies to what they're seeing there, but I've had it. So you do a in-app purchase to remove ads, and it does remove ads, but not immediately. Like you have to there's a refresh involved, or you have to go to another page or something like that. So it was not reloading. So basically what I had to do was have a post event after the in-app purchases and just go back to the beginning of the application rather than have to go through and find ways to remove those ads immediately, or to unlock something. Sometimes it's just like a state issue, you might add new features, but maybe they don't show up immediately. And you also have to have a restore button. Like Apple's really big on having a way to restore your purchases, right? Even though, even though I'm saying if you made the same purchase, you don't charge them again, right? It's still a managed purchase, but they need to have that restore button, and that's one of the things that they have on there. Now, if you're talking about subscriptions, that's a bit different, because then I've been rejected for subscriptions because I don't have the terms and conditions there, and I had add all kinds of stuff about to be more overt, even though their pop-up dialog says you'll be charged on these dates, this amount for this amount of time, right? You still have to do your own little thing within the app just to keep the reviewers happy. But is that what it is, Armando? Leandro's here. Hey, Leandro, how's it going? Let's see. Okay. Have you seen this issue? I'm using Revenue Cat. So for Revenue Cat, the issue that I've had, let's see. No, I didn't have that. Well, okay. First of all, Armando, make sure that if you're using Revenue Cat, because you as the user, you're going to be you as the account owner, you're going to have access anyway. So if you set up a test user and see if you can get that test user to try to do it. So I've had that with a client where I set them up through Revenue Cat using subscriptions, and they can't even see what the process is like. I have to set up a test user so that I can go through and do the purchase and all that kind of stuff. So that might be the case. And have you? I mean, if you look through the revenue cat, can you see their transactions go through? Because that's what I do when I look at it. I can see them logging in. They have like a. It's like you use very distinct, like, I mean, not distinct. Like if you look at the list of users on the transaction history, you'll see the Apple reviewers because it looks like it's a randomly generated email address, which it is, I'm sure. So, but yeah, Leon, Android, cool. So, Leonardo says, my app has a 3-day free trial. After the test period, all my subscription status become payment pending and I don't receive the money. What's going on? After the test period, all my subscriptions become payment pending and I don't receive the money. What's going on? I don't know. Are we talking about, so Leonardo, are you using, sorry, did I say Leandro? Leonardo, are you using Revenue Cat or are you just using the in-app purchase? Are you just doing it yourself? And are we talking about Google Play or iOS? Because I haven't seen that. So when I implemented subscriptions, I didn't put a trial in. Let's see. Armando says, I've seen reports from forums where devs have to submit multiple times just for it to work. Yeah, yes, you do have to submit multiple times. For the iOS side, yeah, just keep submitting it, but make sure that they can see what the issue is. Sometimes I've had it where I just didn't get what they were saying, and then I submitted again. You have to give them like instructions on, sometimes it just helps. Like maybe they're trying to do the in-app purchase and they just don't see the result of it. So like if you could look in Revenue Cat and you can see the transaction going through and it looks like it's working, but for some reason they don't think it is, maybe they just don't know what it's supposed to look like. So that's what in the developer notes, in the release, was not the developer notes. When you do, what's it called? At the bottom of the form where you put in like the login and the password for test users, and you have those notes for the reviewer. In that, say, follow the steps. Okay, you go to this button, you click this, you make the purchase. When the purchase is done, this is what you should see, right? And then that way you'll see whether or not that works. Also, because you are in dev mode, make sure that you're actually that you've attached that subscription. Do you have to with an in-app purchase, you have to attach the purchase to the build when you release it, so it gets reviewed. Make sure that that's actually been done. Make sure it's been active and it's been active and added to the build. I'm not sure if that works for subscriptions though. Ben Mohammed, can hear you loud and clear. Our summer is over. I know it's weird because it was like so hot for so long. I got some today. I finally got in the mail today. I got some sandals. That's it. I thought I'm never gonna wear sandals again because I got ugly feet, but I got some sandals. They showed up today and it's like it's like raining and everything outside. But yeah, no, totally, it is like summer's over. Julio Cruz, my app got suspended. Whew. I appealed it and Google accepted it and moved my app to removed. Dude, result awesome, Julio. I uploaded the fixed version and waiting for their review. Do you know how long it takes to reinstate? Usually it's, I don't know. It depends. It's like Google, they're weird now. Google could take like a week, but as a general rule, it used to be for me, it would take just a day or a few hours or a day when I got reinstated. But that was pre-COVID. That was pre all this other kind of stuff. But the fact that you got it to a removed state is awesome, right? Let's see. Leron says the app needs to be installed on one side, not both. See, Leron, when we're talking about the WhatsApp person, look at, isn't that like a security flaw? So if I install the app, and I send somebody a message, would it tell me their location and without them having to install something? Don't they have to give some sort of permission to that? I think this is the part I don't quite understand. Yes, in-app purchases and subscriptions does not work for them. Okay. So, thanks for the answer. Yeah, I mean, what I would do is sometimes they'll send a screenshot or they'll send a little bit of description. The thing with Apple is they'll send the guidelines, which looks like just boilerplate stuff. And every so often you'll look and there's maybe one sentence of what the actual issue is. I think they it'd be nice if they just gave you that one little thing, but sometimes they'll sandwich it inside the whole thing. So so have a look at that. Google Play. So this is my app has a $3 offer, payment pending, and I don't receive the money. What's going on? Is it in your so it's payment pending. Who sees payment pending? Do you see payment pending? Is that in the order history? Do you see it in order history? That's what I mean. Is it? Because if you make sure that you have everything set up properly, usually payments come in. Like for me, it happens like on the 23rd. Actually, for my Google Play app purchases, for me it's like the 17th of the month, and it's once a month that those purchases come through. But yeah. Let's see. Armando says, my purchases of subscriptions are currently waiting for review. Also, my build. Does my purchase need to be approved first? Their attempt does not show it on Revenue Cat. Yeah, like there is a spot. Let me see. Let me see if I can find this on here. Because I think when you do like a subscription, you do attach it to the build too. Make sure you've done that. So let's go. Let me just go to App Store Connect. I'm going to show my screen here in a second. So let's see if we can just walk through this together. Because I know, like, if you do like an in-app purchase, you have to like attach it to the review build. Okay. Let me just. I'm going to just pick a app that at random that happens to have one of my ones. I've removed so many applications that, let's see. So if I were to go to Virtual George. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. So here's my application, Virtual George, which has been live forever. I need to update it because it's going to be, it's going to get removed because I haven't updated it since 2017. Whew, okay. But like if I were to go through it here, what is it? Let me see if I can remember this. You go to in-app purchases, manage. Of course, you set all this up on Revenue Cat too, but oh, come on, don't be slow. And then if I was going to say set up in-app purchase, oh my gosh, this. All right. I have to review the taxes payment. Oh, I'm banking. Oh, geez, you know what? Okay. But yeah, usually what will happen, Armando, is like you have to attach the purchase to it. Just make sure that you're doing that too. Look through all, where you have to say select the build and attach the build. Sometimes if you set up the purchase, you have to attach the purchase, so that goes through the review too. Make sure that's happening. I think you have to do that for in-app purchases, but I'm pretty sure you have to do that for subscriptions too. Maybe it's possible that maybe they were reviewing the app without the subscription. You didn't attach it to that. But it's difficult to say without being able to see it. And I have this problem where every time I go, a few weeks ago when just after WWDC, all of my clients have to go through and approve whatever they have to approve. The new changes to the terms and conditions, the new payment stuff, all this kind of stuff. And every single time that happens, I'm just chasing people. Like, can you go through and approve this and approve this? It's the same as like when you have iTunes used to update all the time, and the terms and conditions you have to go through and approve them. App Store Connect does it all the time. And a lot of the times as a developer, even as an admin on somebody else's account, I can't do that stuff for them. They have to do it themselves. So it's me chasing and them saying, I don't understand what to do. And they're almost like as if I'm like it's my fault. It's like, no, you just have to go and approve the Apple stuff. And they're like, it's too confusing. And I go, dude, I know. It's my, that's the way my life is. Let's see. Theo Taylor is in the house. Am I in the house, or is a house in me? Ew. What does that mean? Ravi Sharma. Hey, how's it going, Ravi? Wait, come on, click. Ravi Sharma says, hey, Eric, I started with software consulting company now. Any expert advice to that? No, it's good to have, I guess in terms of advice, in terms of finding clients or actually being able to deliver? Because to me, it got to a point where finding clients was easier than, I guess, doing consulting where I was the one who was doing the consulting, or I was the one doing the contracting even. That was easy, right? Because it was just, you're just helping them out, right? You've been down this road before, and you're just guiding them through it, right? It's not about you, it's about them. It's not about you, it's about them, and you can help them get to where they want to go as a consultant, which is cool. But it's the whole thing is like finding people and getting yourself out there in front of people. So let's see. Leron says, okay, this is about the WhatsApp thing, because I'm really intrigued by this, Leron. It looks really cool. You need the exact message that they defined to get their location, and they will receive a WhatsApp notification when someone tries to get their location, so they will know. Okay, yeah, I mean, is that, if they don't have to install it, is that something that they have to set up like in their settings or something? Julio says, yeah, thanks. Julio Cruz says, yeah, and thanks to you, I was able to know what to do in this situation. You are the best, Eric. Cool, that's awesome. I'm really glad you got your app reinstated, because like it was like, if any of you guys have ever had an app suspended or your account suspended, it is, I moped around for days. Like, I moped around for weeks. Like, it's just, so, and then you just think, hey, what's the point? And I had other people say, why don't you just appeal again? Like, people who, like, not in the know. Like, people just said, like family and stuff, say, why don't you just call Google and explain it to them? I'm like, you can't call Google. Like, there's no, you could just email and hope. Like, this is the thing. I've had clients say that to me too. Can we just give them a call and ask them? Like, dude, there's no call. There's no calling anybody, not on the Google side. But let's see. But yeah, no, that's really cool. The message is kind of like a password. Okay. Ben says, will you ever convert to the dark side and build natively in Kotlin? Now there's some cool stuff in with Kotlin multi-platform. Just seeing that ain't used it yet, but it's in production ready. It's production ready. Good show, Eric. You know what? I don't know. I'm still very much in love with Flutter. Like, I'm, now that I'm really getting into it, and but there is a disconnect. Like Kotlin, at least it will be native to something, right? Even if it's like tight against the platform for Android and still a little bit wishy-washy on the iOS side, it's still one code base, which sounds like it would be kind of cool. But I think the thing, it also goes back to like the support for different tools and stuff like that. Like, is Kotlin multi-platform? Like, let's say, for example, if I'm going to implement an SDK, like maybe I want to get like a graphing library from Telerik or Syncfusion or one of those things. I want to do that, or I want to use Revenue Cat. Like, all their examples are in native, and then sometimes React Native and sometimes Flutter, right? At least Flutter is kind of sometimes on that list. So, and I haven't seen anything for Kotlin. I mean, I have for Kotlin like native, and that might be what it is. This is what's throwing me. The fact that Kotlin is one of the major platforms. I might have to check that out. Leron says, but it'd be great if you could suggest what I could do to get more traffic. Currently, it's like 10 to 20 downloads a day. Well, I think, Leron, if you were able to, I think what I'm not understanding, I think, to me, it's like it sounds really cool. Like, technically, I don't get how it works. Like, if they don't have to install something on theirs, if you describe in too much detail how it works, does that mean it'll be easy for someone to copy what you're doing? Or, because I totally get that. Like, if you have something that's like, anybody could be doing it, but you give them an easier way to do it, then yes, that's like, that would make more sense. And I think it's just being able to describe in a less creepy way how it works. Like, it's almost like, it's like an improvement to WhatsApp. It's, I think the video was pretty cool, just to say, oh, good, you're still in school, all that kind of stuff, rather than, when I did the earspy stuff, people were like saying, you should do, catch your cheating spouse, catch your, cheating wife, all that kind of stuff, which was just creepy. Like, it's not the tone I really wanted. So you have to think about what people. So let's go back and have a look at it again. Person locator for WhatsApp. Because if we're talking about increasing the traffic, we're talking about like how are people actually going to find it and who's your target audience, right? Because you got create any. So okay, so let's have a look at this again. We got the video which we watched, which you kind of show how it works. Let's show this again. So answer me. I think it could be a bit more. Yeah. Okay. So so it looks like you changed the name a little bit. You got person locator, family locator, which is cool. That's fine. But does it create any message trigger? See, now this is the bit where, like, if like for somebody, like basically you're solving a problem for people, which is they need to find, like, they want to keep in better contact with their family and know where they are in a not so creepy way. But maybe there's kind of creepy undertones, but you don't necessarily want to be overt about that, whatever. But but what you're saying is create any message trigger, which sounds like something a developer would say and what a user would not understand what that meant. Because even me as a developer, I don't quite understand what that means. Use WhatsApp to find your device with a trigger. Okay, cool. So this is what it is. So again, so if someone sends me the word location, WhatsApp would automatically give me a link here which I could tap on. Is that how it works? No. And then you got the map. I mean, the map is not really create multiple triggers as you need. And again, this is like you're saying triggers, but you're not saying what the triggers are for. And this is kind of where I'm kind of getting lost on it. Let's just do a quick search because I've never heard of this before. And are you okay? So like, are you able to use WhatsApp in your title? I mean, that's something even that I'm not quite sure of. WhatsApp. Let's just WhatsApp location. Semi location. But you got to think about, so let's go back to this. So you got to think about the problem that you're solving for them. The problem that you're solving is you're adding new functionality to WhatsApp so that they can send their location, right? And so, but like, I'm really confused when I look at the screenshots as to what that is and how it works and the security ramifications of it. Does anybody else have anything to add on there? Because you got to think about how they're going to find it. What would they be searching on? So first of all, person locator for WhatsApp, find my phone. Like I'm trying to think. Yeah. What would they be searching for? Does anybody else have any ideas on that one? Unity ECS. Is there any reason we shouldn't use Xamarin? I use Xamarin all the time. I used to think I thought I would hate using Xamarin. I thought, it's like, and I actually do enjoy it. I think if there's anything, it would be the file sizes, because it could be a bit bulky. But that's kind of the same with all the cross-platform stuff. So it's not that bad. One of the things that I do like about Xamarin, I like that you have, like, on a Xamarin Forms project, you'd have like the main, your core project, which is, your core project, what most users see, and then you have the two sub projects for Android and iOS, and you could write, like, it's almost like they map the entire languages into Xamarin, so you don't need to mess around with plugins and stuff like that. I mean, it gets a bit complicated. Like, whenever I have to do implement an SDK or like a third-party library and there's not a mapping for it, then it gets like, I hate doing that. It's just like so complicated and I just never quite get it, right? But if you just have like code, it's like it's easy to just go in and write the code in those different ways. So I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't use Xamarin except for maybe the file sizes. Yeah, I can't think of any good reason not to. Unless you're like, I mean, especially if you're a .NET developer, right? Like if somebody was coming in and we're going to learn any language, right? They're like just a blank piece of paper. I wouldn't say like go for Xamarin because like, you know, it works for C# developers because they know what they're doing. You know, they've been working with C# and other stuff. They work in, you know, the .NET frameworks and everything. But let's see. The one who wants to share his location through WhatsApp needs to install the app. Thanks. Okay. Okay, got it. So Armando says, have you experienced the iOS jank thing the first time you opened a Flutter app? I had to build my app on a dev channel to be able to use it using the SKSL warm-up on Metal devices. I think I've seen it today. Like I was like doing a demo today, and I tried to open a drop-down. A drop-down, and it kind of like had a little bit of a like, you know, but it wasn't like that bad. Like it was, you know, a lot of the stuff I do is like business applications. So, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't use, when people say that, you shouldn't use Flutter because it's got that little jank thing in it on iOS devices. And it's like, I mean, how often do you actually see that? Like when I see people demonstrate the jank, I think, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look like a user would look like, I'm not using this anymore. I mean, it's just like a little bit of a performance. I mean, it's not even a performance thing. It's just like an animation glitch. So, you know, and it doesn't happen every single time. So to me, like, it seems like you're going to disregard this entire framework because, well, it's not ready yet. Flutter's not ready yet because there's one issue over there. And, you know, so I don't know. It's easy to criticize things, but so I haven't really experienced it, Armando. But yeah, well, except maybe today I might have done. But I'll have to do that. I'll use the maybe I'll go onto the dev channel. I mean, at least the dev channel, if the SKSL warm up on Metal devices. Which I've never heard of, by the way. So I'm gonna have to look that up. So if that's, I mean, that's kind of one of those things. If it's big enough that like a fix will come out, I kind of think. But Morris Taylor, hey Morris, how's it going? It says, I'm paralyzed with fear of spending a bunch of time learning iOS and not being good enough to freelance before I run out of money. Really? Why are you paralyzed with fear? Right? You know. Yeah, I mean, okay. When we talk about learning iOS, like here's something you can do more. Start putting your CV out there now, like seeing what the market looks like. Right? It doesn't say you have to take on a job, right? Just say no. Just start searching the market to see what's out there. Right? Start looking for what works. I mean, you start building your brand and your name, but as you're still getting used to these technologies. Because when we talk about learning a new language, we talk about learning something, there's like, I mean, what is the baseline? Like, you could have a company that needs the most experienced, advanced, super technical guy to look after their mainframe system, whatever. Or you could have somebody who just needs somebody to come in and just change some labels and knows how to compile, right? I've had projects like that where I've had clients where just like, they just needed somebody like, the app works, but like their developer just kind of went missing, or they had a fight with them. Like, there's always like things that go on, right? And they need something simple like, just like we want to change the color because we have new branding and we want a new splash screen, all this kind of stuff. And you're like, really? Is that all you need? I don't even have to touch any code. That's awesome. Those kind of things happen. But like, there's stuff out there like that. So, and everything you take on, it gives you a bit more experience. So, but you could always be testing the market to see what it's like. You don't have to take something on, right? If you go to an interview, like let's say, and don't lie on your CV either, right? If you have a CV that says I've been doing iOS for 6 months, or I've been doing iOS for the last 3 months, but I've also been working on these other types of things, then, you might get an interview, or they might just toss you aside because, you're not as qualified as what they need, which is totally fine, right? That's kind of how interviews work. That's why the interviewer is trying to get the right fit for the job. And sometimes they don't need that person who's really expensive and they know everything, right? They might need somebody who is not so expensive, but they know enough to help them get done what they need to get done. Let's see. Patrick, hey Patrick, how's it going? With Kotlin Multiform, you still need to develop the UI for each platform. Oh, do you? Okay. Xamarin is fine, and Microsoft is doing a lot of work on it now. Yeah, I'm always like the whole Maui thing. Like Maui is the new thing that's coming out after .NET 6, I think. And I haven't really been looking into that. I keep seeing James Montemagno's videos on Maui and everything, but I haven't really even started to look at it. I'm still in the .NET, the Xamarin 5 stuff. Just putting all that stuff in, it's little easy things that would like just having a gradient background and stuff like that. It's kind of like that's possible in Xamarin 5, and all that's really cool. And you got the Skia libraries, everything like that, which I'm terrible at using the Skia libraries. But I do one of the things I like with Xamarin is the data binding on forms, just being able to load your object up and bind to the data. Whereas in Flutter, it just seems kind of weird that if I have a text box, then I need to have a text editing controller for each one of those. That's just kind of, it just seems like it's weird. To have the text editing controller, and then or text field controller, whatever it's called, and then also have the control itself separately, or even have a drop down. So when it comes to data binding like that, it's kind of weird. I like it when you bind to the data and it's a two-way binding, and then that's just it. You load your object up, it binds to the form, and then you make the changes to the form, and then you submit it, or you have a save button and everything works. But I don't know. Let's see. Matt Glover. Hey Eric, sorry it's been a while. What's new with the home apartment office? Just a different setup. So I just changed the camera to point to I'm still in the flat. I say flat, I meant apartment. Still in the apartment. All right. I haven't been in an office I closed the office in March, the 1st of March of last year, which was strange timing because everything shut down and everything. And when I moved into this place, and I thought, I'm just going to work from here, right? When I was hiring people, and it was kind of nice to have an office for them to go to, but I had this, and it was kind of just nice to have my own place. And then when I some personal things where I moved out and everything and into my own place. And I thought, I don't need a place where I'm by myself all day and then go to an office where I'm by myself all day. So then it was ideal, right? It was just I might as well just work from here. And I think I had so much, when I would hire somebody to come work, and I thought, what if I ever hired anybody, I don't have an office for them to go to. But then the whole world went remote anyway, so that's one thing. And then also when they did come to the office, I had this weird thing where my office became it was my place. It was I could do whatever I want. Nobody's looking over your shoulder. You could just work a little bit on this, work a little bit on that, and whatever, take a nap. And then when you had somebody else in your office, it's kind of it was almost it was weird. It was having somebody just there. It was and then it was found myself not wanting to go in the office anymore. So I think I'm very introverted. I like especially when it comes to working on stuff. I like to have that solitude and just being able to sit down and just okay, I'm gonna work my way through this. And sometimes and that which I could do in an office by myself, but an office with other people I couldn't. So I don't plan on going back to an office, not unless because I'm really happy with the way things are now. Just keeping costs low, trying to see where things go and everything like that. So, but the only difference in this setup is I turned the desk around because it used to be that you guys could see my entire living room, but every time I did a Zoom call, they could see my kitchen, and it was like, there'd be like sandwich wrappers and stuff in the background, and people on Zoom calls would be like, "So, would you have Subway for lunch?" It was like embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and I got tired of trying to like clean up the table behind me in my kitchen, so that's why I changed everything around. But anyway, that's a little, Unity ECS says, Eric says he hates Xamarin. I did not say I hate Xamarin. When did I say I hate Xamarin? Now I'm downloading ebooks for Flutter. I did not say I hate Xamarin. I use Xamarin all the time. I use Xamarin. No, I do. Okay, so like when it comes to like C# and when it comes to C# in general, I really like using LINQ. Just being able to load your objects up and using LINQ. And I know you could do that in a lot of other languages too. So not having to hit the database again, and just being able to load your objects up and be able to query them many times over. Whereas in JavaScript, you could do that too, but I used to always do this where I'm looping through it and creating an array and another array and another array and another array. And I used to like how you just have that where clause on LINQ. And you could do that with, with the filter and all that stuff. And in Java, and no, you use a filter and Dart, right? No, it's filter and JavaScript, and Dart actually does have a similar thing where you can have the where clause, although I think it's a library that you include in Flutter. But let's see. Patrick says, I haven't decided if I like Flutter or Xamarin better. There are some minor annoyances with both platforms, but both work well. Yeah. Let's see. What I think with Flutter, it's it still has those shortcomings of like the same as with Cordova-based apps or React Native is like if you wanted something too specific to native, then you have to, write a plugin or find a plugin. Ideally, find a plugin. And where Xamarin, it's almost like you could just go through and, if you find a good Java example, it doesn't take much to port that over into the Android side using the C#. I mean, what's weird is that they keep the same. Well, it's not weird. It makes sense. So they use the same naming conventions. So like if you like it's a capital on this instead of a lowercase on the Java version or whatever. But a lot of times you find those examples. It doesn't take very much to be able to figure out how to do them within the native projects on the Xamarin. I guess I like Flutter's UI API better, but prefer C# over Dart. Yeah, I mean this is another thing because I'm using Xamarin Forms, and so like I've never liked using another markup language. Like I like the fact that Dart and I like the fact that Dart is all code and the hot reload and everything just goes, and then but then you also do, a lot of people, a lot of guys have said about the nested mess that you get into, and that, which is totally true, right? You just get to the point where like, dude, it's like I've got like one text box and I've got like 20 lines of code for this because whatever, I got the text editing controller. I got the text box of text editing controller. Maybe I have some, it's inside a padding, and then it's inside a row, inside a column, which is so I can have the label next to it, which is inside a row, so I can have it in something else, and the rows inside a padding. And you're like, and after a while, it's like, dude, this is getting a bit big, and then. So then you think, then you get to that point where like, okay, at what point am I going to refactor this and move this out to its own function? And it's sort of like, because I have this duplicated code all over, or do I move this out into its own control, or do I just leave it as is? And there's times where it could get a bit like, you get that bit. I mean, you do the same in all languages, I guess, where you're counting all those like closed brackets and stuff, which is like, but that. I like the fluidity of it. The same way I remember used to think this about Windows Forms and HTML, whereas a Windows form had space, like you put a button in and it's 10 pixels down or whatever, and it wasn't like where HTML was like things would collapse and fill the void a lot better. And when I work with XAML, I find that it's a lot more like using like a desktop application where things don't really collapse and merge and everything the same way. So I mean, yeah, if that makes any sense. Merrick Blazek, hey, how's it going? It says, hi, if Google rejected some of my updates because of like store listing, bad title, descriptions, etc., how bad is it compared to suspension? This is way better than a suspension. A suspension means like you can't even change it after a suspension. Like they'll just like, let me show you. I'll show you guys. I'll show you some of my suspended apps. This is, how embarrassing is this? Let's see if I can go open up Google Play Developer Console. So I'm just doing it real quick because I've got lots of clients, so I'm gonna make sure it's just my app you see. So I'm gonna share my screen here. So I've got a lot of applications here on Google Play. A lot of them have been removed. I've got like an update rejected. Where Google's removed it. Some of these I've unpublished it myself. Update rejected. Oh jeez. A lot of these I moved. Actually, let me just. I only want to show suspended by Google. Here we go. So when they suspend something like Irasys Pro, basically there's nothing you can do. You can't change anything. All you could do is appeal it, right? It's better than it used to be. It used to just show nothing. But like that's it. You're just like, screw you, you can't do anything. Whereas if you get something that's just in a remove state, I don't know if I have anything removed. Just go back to all apps. Removed by Google. I got loads of removed by Google. A lot of them have been removed by Google, which I've unpublished. I haven't even updated them in years. But let's say update rejected, removed by Google. This is something I could still go in. I can make the changes. I can still upload a new build, and it will go through the whole process again. So yeah, if your update's rejected, that's no big deal, right? It's like, if they thought you were doing something bad, then they would do a full suspension, and you'd have to appeal that or just create a new build, And the whole thing about doing a new releasing a whole new package, which you could do, you just give it a new name, new package, all this kind of stuff, and release it again, which is one of the things they say, is that if you're not 100% sure why it was suspended in the first place, then you could get a second suspension, and then like your whole platform could get, messed up. And if you have users already and you have like backlinks and you have reviews and everything like that, it's just, you want to try to get that overturned if you can. Let's see. If Eric hates something, there's probably something wrong with that, and I take advice. I never said I hate anything. What did I say I hated? Okay, no, I do hate some things. Okay, I'm not a. Okay, let's see. What do I hate? Ooh, all right, everybody, put like the language that you hate. I hate Objective-C, right? I know. Okay, I know I'm going to alienate some of you guys, right? Because every time I start using it, it's like it's not because I think it's stupid. I think it's just way too complicated. So to say that I hate it, I guess you know what? Maybe I shouldn't say I hate it because I can't understand it. Like, okay, let's say I do not. Okay, let's just say hate. I was an Ionic fan for a long time, and now every time I go to use an Ionic application, it's like all the changes and the everything. It's like it felt like it was a house of cards just waiting to topple over. And I did a video about why I'm not going to use Ionic anymore, and it was like the most popular video on my channel for like a few years, and it ranked top for Ionic framework. If you type in Ionic framework in YouTube, it was like the top video, right? Thousands of tutorials, and it was me saying why I'm not going to use it. And I had like and the one of the creators, Max from Ionic, which was a really cool guy, but he would send me messages saying this is all fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and all this stuff, and people who are Ionic fans, they were just said like this is just clickbait, all this stuff. I just took so much crap from people, and I thought, oh God, so because people get really defensive about the languages they don't like. I'm not a fan of PHP, and I know that there's lots of Laravel and everything out there, but I've just never really been that much into PHP. I really like using, let's see what else. I can't think of anything I really hate. What do you guys hate? Let's see. Historia says, you're the best. Keep it up. Thanks very much, Historia. What do you what do you have to say about the post IDFA iOS 14.5 situation for all developers who are suffering for the 40 to 60 cents drop in revenue at the moment? I think like ad revenue is kind of that thing where even like when my ad revenue is doing well, and it still does pretty well even on the iOS. I haven't made any changes to iOS, but I need to because my apps are probably gonna get removed. But I've still been making quite a bit there. To me, like the writing was on the wall with the GDPR stuff when they said, in Europe you have to ask for, if you're going to show personalized ads, you have to ask for consent, right? And you're like, what do you mean? Like, hey, is it okay if we show you? Hey, do you want to see personalized ads or non-personalized ads? Because every marketer I've ever talked to, when you watch all this stuff, they say, you know what? People don't want to see random ads. They want to see ads that are tailored to them. And I'm like, I don't want to see ads that are tailored to me. I think it's creepy when I see ads that are tailored to me. So me as a user, like that IDFA pop-up that says ask app not to track, I ask app not to track. Oh, by the way, thanks everybody for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I ask them not to track, right? And I make money through ad revenue, but it's like, it's creepy that they do. And the fact that Facebook comes out and says, oh, they're hurting the small businesses. We're like, dude, you guys have capitalized on, using our information and following us around and using, whatever tactics to be able to, to push us into making buying decisions that we maybe don't want to make, right? And, which is fine for, I don't know. It's funny. I was gonna say it's fine for like us level-headed people, but like it's funny when you read stuff about marketing and how we can all be duped or pushed over the edge, or you get us at the right time, have a few glasses of wine or whatever. We're like, yeah, you know what? I do want that thing, because they know the right buttons to push and the right ad to give you. And I remember watching this TED talk of a woman talking about how AI and advertising was this, like a harmful combination, because you have somebody who's like a compulsive gambler and the algorithm will learn that and it will start to like give them ads for gambling, right? So it's like, so the personalized ads thing is just weird. So like as a consumer, as a user, I totally get it. But like this is the whole thing about that, I don't know. Everything changes. Everything changes. Like we talk about the SEO people who are like being able to like, all you have to do is put these keywords in your meta tags and you'll be at the top of Yahoo. And then it was like being at the top of Google, and then the algorithms change and people who are like at the top are now like, on the wayside. And, it's like, it's being flexible and be able to keep your skills up. So I think it sucks that people who are making good revenue through the free applications, through ads, are suffering for it. But yeah, I kind of get the reason why. I mean, what do you guys think? It's weird, like, because the easy answer is to say, have an in-app purchase that is worth purchasing. Have a subscription that's worth purchasing rather than ads, because ads are like, because ads are creepy. Ads are like getting harder and harder to make money from. But it's easier said than done when all your competition is free. When all your competition is doing everything for free and they're able to survive off that low revenue, then they're just going to squeeze you out of the market. The one reason why you should still have ads is because it does nudge the person more into doing the in-app purchase to remove the ads. But I don't know. What do you guys think about it? I mean, that might not be a very good answer, but what do you guys think? Marco says, hey, Eric, I'm changing my monetization strategy to more in-app purchase. Awesome, which we're talking about. But I'm afraid that could have an impact on losing users because it would make exclusive features for paid users. What do you think? Yeah, it's weird, like, to take something away from the existing users. Ideally, you would add something new and put that behind a firewall, or or do like everyone. I mean, everyone else is starting to limit things. So like it's still a usable platform so that people still use it. I think about what's the what's the one where you drag? Oh, what am I doing? You drag the tiles across the Kanban style. Trello. Trello was like, it was the coolest tool because it was just like, it was free. Everyone used it. They had a little power up, so you could pay a little bit extra. I would pay a little bit extra, but then Atlassian bought it, and then it was like, okay, you can have 3 boards. And then if you want more, you can. And I thought that sucked. I thought that sucked more than anything else. That they were, rather than adding new things to pay for, they took things away. And they started introducing this pricing schedule. But it's only going to, one thing to think about, Marco, is that it's only going to affect your existing users. Like new users are just going to be used to it. So I don't know, maybe you can grandfather them in somehow. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Morris says, it seems like to freelance with iOS, you also need to know Node.js, REST API, Flutter, Xamarin, Firebase, AWS, etc. Not to mention iOS, Objective-C, old Swift, new Swift, UKKit, Swift UI, Git, etc. Yeah, weird, isn't it? Well, you got to think like these, I don't know. Sometimes they act like it's a buyer, like it's either going to be a buyer's market or a seller's market. If it's a seller's market, like when a skill is new, you could be like I remember like HTML developers being like, they were just, they were it. Like they were getting paid loads of money to do web pages, and then eventually they were just, they got crowded out and it became a buyer's market. So I think the people making these kind of stuff where they're asking for all this, it's crazy. But like if I were gonna add, like, if I saw a job listing like this, they need an iOS developer with Node.js experience, REST API experience, which again, Node.js, REST API, kind of the same thing. Flutter, right? I would say I have Flutter exposure, but not whatever experience. I do, but like if I didn't, I would say I've exposure. I know what it is, and I'm willing to learn what I need to. Xamarin, Firebase, AWS, etc. Not to mention iOS, Objective-C, old Swift, new Swift, UK Swift. All you can do is put your CV out and say, okay, these are the stuff I know. But also, like, don't discount the stuff that you've been exposed to, right? Like I've been in interviews where I said, okay, I got a Silverlight contract way back in the day, not recently. Way back in the day, and I said I just basically said I've had exposure to Silverlight. I've done a few like demo apps, but I've never done anything commercial, right? And but all the other skills came in, and it was like that was enough to get me that contract. So it was like, and it lasted a few years. So it's don't discount the fact that you like. They're looking for that ideal unicorn who knows everything and is like an expert at all that kind of stuff. God, can you imagine meeting the guy who's an expert at all that stuff? Like, what an asshole he'd be. He'd be like, oh yeah, I'm an expert on that. Yep, got certification in that. Got that. Like, dude, man, what you like? Nope, I know everything. Don't talk to me about anything. They would never be able to afford him. How you like? Okay, unless you're like, yeah, they want all that kind of stuff, and they're gonna pay $30,000 a year. Yeah, I would say, apply. Morris, when I moved to this country, a poor penniless immigrant, when I moved to England at the age of 25, and I had my degree in history, and I got a job in a factory packing yogurt into boxes. My stepdad actually gave me this advice. He said, just apply for everything. I was like, what do you mean everything? Just apply for everything. It is not your job to disqualify yourself from these opportunities, right? There are people who are paid. There are recruitment people who are paid to go through CVs and look at this kind of stuff. And you don't, like, for all you know, they got 5 CVs for a job because they have like ridiculous requirements like that. And you're one of those 5, and the other 4 are way worse off than you. Then it gets your foot in the door and you can go do that. So like, don't be put off by that stuff. Apply anyway. And I've said that before, and people say, oh, you're just wasting people's time. I said, well, you know what? they're paid for their time, and I'm not paid for my time by applying for their job. So, um, you know, if they're not doing their job, then that's not on me. Hi, Marco. What monetization strategy are you moving away from? Oh, good question. I assumed it was ads. Morris says, I'm just going to start with the latest iOS, Swift, UI kit, and Git. Yeah, build something. If you can build something, then that's definitely something. And if you put something, I mean, you could put something on the app market, and then that's your portfolio piece. Let's see. Historia says, it seems like we're moving away from freemium models on iOS with the situation right now, and it seems the only way to go forward is a subscription-based model. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit, I mean, when you saw the, what was that documentary on Netflix last year? Or earlier this year, I can't remember what it was. We talk about all the kind of stuff where we've got this polarization of society with the QAnon and all these different types of stuff, and a lot of it is because of ad revenue. It's because of the freemium model. It's like the fact that they're trying to serve me content they think I want to see, and then if I watch one video, then it thinks, oh, he's obviously into this, and then all this kind of, and then it comes to a point where all I ever see is this one thing, so that they can serve me the right ads, and they know, like, and the right videos, and they can keep me on their platform, and all of a sudden you go down this tunnel vision because of this freemium model, right? It's like, they want you to stay on their site and stay in their platform, so they can serve you the right kind of ads, because that's how they do it. And then in order to do that, they're going to just, they're not going to show you what they want you to, what they want to show you. They're going to show you what they think you want to see. And then that's the whole reason for society going crazy the way that it has. So, I mean, I don't know. Because I was paralyzed with fear, I bought a sweet drone. Patrick said, I also hate Objective-C, and I really hate goat cheese. Oh, we're talking about stuff we really hate. Oh, let's see. God, no. See, I'm trying to be more zen and more like positive about stuff. If it's something I really, really hate, let's see. What is it? God, something comes up. Mr. Mercer, hey, how's it going? It says, can you suggest any solution for AdMob ad limit? Because it's been 30 plus days and ads still not removed from my app. Have you done anything? Have you released a new version just to see, see if that does anything? I mean, if it's 30 days, let's see. Wander Souza, hey, how's it going? It says, thanks for the great content. Oh, you're welcome. Appreciate that. I really appreciate you saying that. Thanks, Wander Souza. Which user acquisition strategy is the best? Facebook ads, Google ads, or any other? I think if your app is like, if your revenue per user is high enough, then your cost per user can withstand the Facebook ads. I think Facebook ads, because you can identify exactly who your users should be and then just target them, and you don't have to do the whole search thing. That's my opinion. Some of you guys might disagree with that. And there's also, and there's lots of people have differing opinions out there. I know a lot of people use search ads, like Apple search ads, and it works really well for them. I use it like briefly and did not get a whole lot of use out of that. But I did find that when I did take my app and increase the cost from I can increase the cost from like $3.99 to like $8.99 or so. I just decided, I always went crazy and just like the pro version of one of the apps. And then I was able to just start putting Facebook ads, and that was working for a while until the app was removed. But it was kind of cool. Let's see. Morris says, I hate Swift because it did not replace Objective-C. Now you have to learn both, where before you only had to learn Objective-C, even though it sucked. Yeah, I kind of find that it's kind of weird. It's like it's their own cross-platform framework. It's like their own thing, and you still have to go. Yeah. Patrick says, I tried to use Ionic. I'm sure it's great, but React was so much easier. Yeah, I think I liked it. Yeah, I think Yeah, I mean, the thing I loved about Ionic was being able to run it in a browser and do almost all your code in a browser, and it really sped things up. I mean, now you got, like, with Flutter, you've got the hot reload, and in Xamarin you got hot reload too, but it's way better in Flutter. Like, Xamarin hot reload is still cool, but So you got all that instant feedback loop, or because I can remember doing like native Android, and it was just like that, waiting for it to compile and go onto the simulator. It was like 20, 30 seconds. I was like, God, this is taking forever. But yeah, that was something I really liked. Historia, no problem. Mac said, Morris, you don't really need to learn Objective-C anymore. I would drop that. Also, I wouldn't bother with the pre-Swift 5. Huh. I guess if he's looking to do consulting, then, well, let's see. Simmantac says, how do we ask questions? Just like that, with question mark at the end. Usually one of the 5, who, what, where, how at the beginning. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Matt Glover says, I think you're casting a very wide net, and I understand how paralyzing that'll feel. Just get the basics down and build from there. I have 0 experience in Flutter, Dart, Xamarin, and I do okay. Cool, awesome. Chaplain Andrew Kuslik says, I have a love-hate relationship with Java, HTML, and CSS. My app is built with HTML. You are like the only person, Chaplain, that I've ever seen, actually no, in years, that actually put the dots between the HTML. Like it's an acronym. I know it is an acronym, Hypertext Markup Language, but like I've never seen anybody actually do it like that way, which is cool. Now, I think, actually no, I was gonna say I like HTML, but like I'm kind of at the point now where I've been doing a lot of Angular stuff lately, and I'm like when it got all bootstrappy and like I'm still old school where I'm thinking, okay, I'll put this inside a table and this inside a table inside a table inside a table inside a table, right? And whereas like that's not the way you're supposed to do it because it's not responsive. So now you got like everything's done with CSS and Bootstrap, and that's where it gets a bit like it's almost like I lost it. Like back in my day, we just had 5 tags. We had bold, we had italics, we had whatever. So, but let's see. Matt Glover said, personalized ads, I think it's fine. The people it hurts are advertisers and companies who want to direct access to a specific cohort. As an app developer, I'd show them ads like Google Ads worry. Yeah, I mean, you can still show ads, and it's it's up to them. I mean, Patrick says, I think the IDFA changes are good for users, and I'm okay with the App Store where fewer things are free. It's curmudgeonly of me to say, but apps are a lot of work. We should get paid to create it. I agree. Yeah. I think it's that, there's so many people out there just doing, just shoving stuff out there. Semantax says, I created a social media app and it rose to number 37 on the top charts, but suddenly users stopped coming in, and because it was a network app, it fell off the list and the app is dead. Oh, that sucks. I mean, that seems like a social app, a social media app is powered by users, so you have to get the users and have the users at the same time. That's got to be. I've never had a social media app. It's Apple code in Swift 3. Which I've been able to convert. I've got my app is in. I had it recently converted to Swift 2, and now I can't even release it. Not recently, a couple years ago. Let's see. Semantics says the app is called Forward, and if that's important. If you want us, we can have a look at it. But let's see. I'm moving away from ad revenue, premium version of the app. Yeah. Let's see. Morris, I feel for. Let's see. Along with pushing for more notifications. I feel for you, buddy. It's a journey we've all been on. However, it might be simpler to focus on the smaller things rather than to get the world on your shoulders. That's right. I mean, you're gonna have to, okay, so let's go back to Morris. Like, I could document my learning experience, and they can hire me or not. Yeah, you're not preparing for, like. You're preparing to go in and do a job. And a lot of places will be willing to hire somebody that they can bring along if you got the right attitude and you're learning this stuff already and you're already getting good at it. It's not like, it's like, you just want to get to the point where you're competent enough that somebody will hire you. And it sounds like you think it's way up here and it's like down here. Like it's down here where like somebody's like, do you know a bit of this? Do you know a bit of this? It's, yeah, I've done a little bit with this, but I haven't looked at that. I mean, just be honest with this kind of stuff. Not in your mind, and it's very easy to say I know nothing about iOS. I know nothing about Objective C, right? And is that really true? It could be really true. I mean, or is it something like, in your opinion, you're not very good at it, but like compared to like a normal person, like you know more than they do? But yeah, taking the world on your shoulders, I agree with that. Yeah, no one can know everything. You'd be surprised to learn that most devs fake it till they make it, so they learn tech when you need it. Yeah, okay. There's things with me definitely where I'm like, you get into those conversations, you're trying to follow along, and at some point you're like for me it's Azure, and like I'm working with developers, then they're talking about the Azure platforms and all this stuff. I'm like, and I'm kind of going for a while, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting this, and it's like, okay, I've lost it. Like, how does this work? How does this, because you're going to run into something. You can't know everything. You're not going to start off as James Bond. You're going to start off as a guy who gets killed early in the movie, but you still have a job. One of the lesser agents, and then you become James Bond later. Let's see. I just document the thing. So Marco, if you're already doing premium features, how's that working out? Do customers value your premium IAP strategy? I tend to do a lot of tweaking to encourage the sales from within the app. Yeah, always constantly reminding them to do that stuff. Let's see. Morris says, I hate the political division in the USA. There's no middle ground anymore. Everyone hates people who think differently. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess. I've been away a long time. Chaplin says, I'm having trouble with the new billing library version 3. Yeah, what do we have? We have until August to implement that, don't we? Let's see, Premium Joys, love it. Let's see, Leonardo says, Google Ads is fantastic, but I always spend more money than I earn. Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's weird to spend money on ads when your revenue is ads, because basically all you're doing is like you're pouring, like I always think it's like, you're pouring, like the advertisers pour money into the top, Google keeps a big chunk of it, and you get the drip at the bottom. And if you're the one doing the whole thing, then all you end up with is the drip at the bottom. Basically you're just giving money to Google, but if you can make it work, then obviously it's cool. Josh Adams, hey Josh, how's it going? It just doesn't seem economical to advertise on Facebook for a free app. It does not. I agree with that. I don't possibly see how it could be profitable. No, and that's like the few people I spoke to had paid apps, and they didn't even have like a free app. Like they were like, there's like the people who go like, if you like, let's say you have something like or like any of the apps that we look at here, and you're advertising to somebody who doesn't know that app exists, who's never searched for it, who's like, the thing with doing ASO and App Store optimization is we're trying to appeal to people who know what they're looking for. They know, like they're going in there searching for it, and we kind of hope that our ranking's at a certain point. But if you do Facebook advertising and you're like advertising to people who don't even know that's what they need until they see it, then you're like doing interruption marketing. You're doing the same thing that television does. When television comes on and says, do you have problems with your erection? I don't know. Television. I haven't seen a TV ad in so long. When I think of TV ads, I think of like the like compilation albums, like 70s hits. You'll hear this song and this song and this song, and it'll be this long commercial with a toll-free number at the end. But like you're sitting around, you're not sitting around thinking, God, I really could use like an album full of 70s songs. But then they say it, and then you start thinking, I could use that. So that's the thing. It's like, it's interruption marketing. I remember when we were talking about how interruption marketing is dead, and now it's like, well, when there's so much competition in search marketing, maybe interruption marketing is the way that you want to go, but only if you don't have a free app. Marco says, is influencer marketing a good strategy to use to get my app to scale after my summer update, which will launch around August? I just need the scalability to obtain users. How can I scale? I've never used influencer marketing. So yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know enough about it. I've never had any clients use influencer marketing. I've never used it myself. I've always just been skeptical, but I'm also like, I've been skeptical about it. I kind of got this thing like, I don't want to pay some kid who's got like loads of followers to say my app is good. Like if you've never heard of it. So I don't know. Let's see. Patrick says Ionic UI was slow too, not fluid. That's true. We talk about janking with Flutter. Yeah, I think it's because I come from the Ionic background. It was, and it still wasn't bad. Symantec says HTML is a programming language. The period of my CS professor disagrees, but y'all gotta agree. HTML is not a real language. Yeah, that's true. It's not a language. It's a it's a protocol. No, what is it? Yeah, it's a protocol. Hypertext markup language. Yeah. Shivam, hey, how's it going? Shivam Shivastava says, your views on Flutter Web. Should I take web app projects? I have experience on Flutter. I haven't got to that point yet. So I've got, like I said, I've got an app that's like, I've got an app in Flutter, and I've got an admin site for that app in Angular. So, and what I keep coming back to is I need to just bite the bullet and learn the Flutter side, because like it's cool where you could, like, I love it when you could get a just take your Flutter application and then boom, it's on the web. But then you, like, all the web stuff I want to do, like I want to do like just like a table of all the, like, so like a good example of a admin site would be, I have the administrator could go in and see a list of all the users. In the app, the user can only see their own data because that's the way the Firestore rules go. So, but if they're an admin and they have that claims, I want them to be able to see a table of all the users. So, that's the kind of situation where rather than have two different things, might as well just have one and have extra menu options so the admin can go in and look at all that kind of stuff. And then I start to think, if I start adding resources to that for a specific user, let's say I have images and stuff, then that's going to get compiled into that Flutter application, which goes onto the App Store, and that's going to make that file size bigger. Whereas, I know I'm overthinking it here, but I don't know if you guys know what I mean. Like I think, Shivam, if you could get good at it, I mean, you might be able to find it, because to me it just seems like the logical thing, the logical next step, and I haven't got to that point yet. And I'm sure you'll find people who want to do that. Like, I mean, I think it might be kind of impressive on your CV where you say, okay, like, because to me, like, the whole thing, having a serverless environment where I say I have my app, which is one code base. Like, you talk about having one code base, like you'd have, well, two code bases. Like, let's say you have Firebase for your hosting and all that kind of stuff, and your Firestore, and maybe some cloud functions, and then you have your application, and that's it, right? You don't need anything else, and you can just deploy that. It's kind of cool. Let's see. Merrick says, what ad content rating PGT you use for your apps on age 13 plus? Do you block some sensitive categories? I don't think I've messed around with the sensitive categories, but back in the old days, I was going through and removing them. But I think, yeah, I never do below 13. Like, I always do 13 and above for my applications. I just don't want to mess around with the COPPA stuff. It just seemed like when they started asking about COPPA and everything, you're like, dude, this is getting this whole other level that I can't, I don't want to mess with. And I was just, like, I think the sensitive categories, I did go through and remove them. I went through and tried, like, change, like, gambling. I think I set gambling to on, and just to see what effect it would have. I didn't see, like, a whole big difference. I only did it for a few days, and then I switched it back off, thinking I didn't want to. I was still at that point where I didn't want to annoy the users. Like, I didn't want to, like, have them have a bad experience. But I don't know. What have you guys done? So Medtac says there's one. I Hi, this one is about my social media app. A piece of feedback I got was because the only option I had was a sign up with mobile number. Most people were turned off by this. Is this true? I don't know. I can see it could be a security thing, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I've never, like I said, I've never done a social media app, but like, it could have been like a security thing. Historia says, Eric, since you've been away for so long, from the States, does IRS still chases after you? I heard that you need to pay taxes even if you're overseas, as long as you're a U.S. citizen. Yes, I still have to do the tax return every year. So, and I do it most of the time. I mean, I need to catch up. I need to catch up on it. But yes, I do. That's probably the biggest annoyance, is to have to do the tax returns each year. So, yeah. Cement, yeah, but yeah, that was something that I learned like after living here a few years, that was like I still have to do that. And there's only been a couple years where I've actually made so much that I had to like pay the US too, though. Let's see. I did this mainly because I didn't want to overcomplicate my coding process by adding the other logging options, even though I'm using Firebase. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, maybe. Well, Symantec, have you thought about just implementing one of them? Because it shouldn't take too long to put like social media login or something like that on there. Story says, Eric, if you don't mind me asking, since you've been away so long, how does yeah, if you're overseas so long, you're a U.S. citizen. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a, it's a pain. But yeah, I do my tax returns. So HTML is a language. This is not a programming language. Okay, it's a markup language. Ah, there you go. All right, yes, you're right. I remember reading somewhere where it said it's not a language. Yeah, a lot of programming language. Because even as I said it, hypertext markup language. It's like right there in the name. Hey, it's my cousin Alan Wroolie. Hey, cuz, you seeing any growth in your app business? No, it's kind of slowed down a bit. Like in terms of the client work, it's slowed down a bit. My apps have still been doing pretty well though. Morris Sater says, did anything useful come out of the Epic Apple lawsuit? I don't know. We're all paying like 15% now. So yeah, quite a few things useful came out of it. I don't know if it did for Epic. Chaplin says, on TV commercials, it's either erectile pills or hair loss cream. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. And Chaplin says, what's the best platform to create my app for iOS and Mac? Oh, iOS and Mac. You could do that in... I think you could do that in Xamarin. You could do it in... Well, actually, with the M1 chip, you could just do it on iOS, and like it will. That's one of the weird things where you could. A lot of the existing iOS applications go run on a Mac M1 computer, but like that, only so many people have those. But there's a lot of the platforms. I think Flutter does Mac, doesn't it? Does desktop? So I did Corona. All my Corona applications, I released those on the Mac App Store. Because I could, but they were like all paid for. They didn't have in-app purchases, and that was kind of cool. But yes, I don't know what the best one would be, but anyway, I'm gonna have to like wrap things up here. I'm gonna get something to eat real quick, and then I've got a class to go to tonight. Thanks very much everybody for joining the live stream this week. We're gonna do it again. You know what? We had so much fun. We're gonna do it again next week. Nobody commented on my attempt to grow a beard, although Chaplin did talk about hair loss cream. But anyway, and erectile pills. Chaplin, come on. So anyway, everybody, thanks for joining the live stream this week. We're going to do it again next week. I hope you guys are staying healthy, staying safe, and we'll talk to you guys next time. See you guys later.